Welcome everyone to Vested Interests. In today's video, guys, I want to look at a topic or discuss a topic I know is probably not the most interesting, but I feel that it is very important, maybe often overlooked. It is your budget. And I know you might be thinking, oh yeah, I don't want you to tell me what to do with my money. Well, I don't want to tell you what to do with your money. I want you to tell your money what to do. So let's get into it. Let's jump right into it. And this is an important one, guys. If you ever want to get to the point where you have financial security, financial freedom, having a budget, understanding where your money's going, where it's not going, and then making sure you redirect the funds that you can into investments over time is the best way to go. And I know some people out there, you have a lot of debt. We're going to talk about that as well. Again, this is a topic I know not everyone likes to discuss or talk about, but it is important. So let's get right to it. So first off, let's go over a few tips for a budget, for a successful budget. Focus on savings first, guys. You're not going to be able to jump right in, especially if you have debt, to dumping a bunch of money into investments accounts. That's a good way to get yourself into financial trouble. So focus on your savings first. Sit down, first of all, sit down and make a budget. Understand where your money's going, understand what your bills are, and then focus on where you can cut costs, and then start putting at least 10% away into a savings account. And that savings account will be for things like paying off those debts that you have, for birthdays, for vacations, for trips. You should start out to try to cover 3 to 6 months of your expenses. So sit down with a pad and paper, figure out what all your expenses are. That's your housing, that's your gas, your insurance, your car payments, any payments you have, all that, and then try to get to 10% above that into savings. Next up, use cash. I know it is easy to slide a credit card or to slide a debit card, and that is also an easy way to just pay for things and get out of control with your spending. So what I used to do, and what I still do at times, is go to the bank and take my debit card and pull out whatever I think I need for the week, whatever my expenses are. If I need $50 for gas, if I'm paying for my lunch, I would recommend you pack a lunch so that's much cheaper. You're not paying the expense to go out and eat. But use cash. You can see it going. You can see it as you're paying for something that leaves your hand. It's much easier to track that cash if you're seeing it than if you just swipe a credit card or swipe a debit card and you're not seeing that transaction. It's just digitally in the ether somewhere. Next up, sounds like an easy one, but it may be hard for some of us. Cut bad habits. If you're going out drinking every Friday night and then complaining you don't have any money, well, maybe you need to cut out the drinking. If you're smoking, a pack of cigarettes every week, but complaining you don't have any extra money, maybe you need to cut back on the smoking or cut it out. It's a terrible habit anyway. Same thing with dips, same thing with sodas. You'd be amazed at how much money you could save just cutting out that 1 or 2 sodas you have a day, pops you have a day. That $1.75. I got a soda actually the other day. It was $2.10, and I actually felt ridiculous for buying a soda at $2.10 when I can go buy a whole pack of sodas and take one with me. The other thing is, like we talked about, packing your lunch. If you go out and work rather than go out, to a restaurant or to a fast food joint, you can definitely make yourself a sandwich or pack leftovers from dinner a lot cheaper than you can stuff like so. Cut out bad habits, guys. Share the responsibility. This one works best if you are married or live with somebody. Split the bills up. Share those bills with somebody, or if you don't live with somebody, get a roommate, and that way you can at least share the bills that would be common to the both of you or 3 of you. If you rent a 3-bedroom house and you have 3 roommates, you split that rent, you split the electric, you split the gas, and then that way you're splitting the bills, and it'll help you get back on track a little faster as well. Next up is really important one, pay down debt. You've got to pay down debt, guys. If you are paying on anything, you are paying more than you should be, right? So if you don't have the cash to buy something, you're typically going to be paying with credit. Credit cards are a terrible way to buy stuff, extremely high interest. So those $60, $70, $80 pair of shoes all of a sudden are going to cost you $120 by the time you pay off the interest on that. Same thing with a car. it's better to use your savings to save the money for that new car or used car than it is to go get a car loan, because you will save the 5, 6, 7% interest on top of whatever you're paying. That $10,000, $5,000 car you're going to go get and pay 6, 7% interest. All of a sudden, it's going to be a $15,000, $20,000 car whenever it's all said and done. Next up, keep your receipts. It's the only way you are going to track your spending. And you don't necessarily have to keep your receipts, but at least write down what you are spending. Carry a tablet, a little pencil and a pad of paper, or we all have cell phones now. Get a little memo app on your phone and track your spending, so you understand where your spending habits are, where your money is going, and then that will help you do number 3, cut bad habits. You can see where that money is going if you track your spending and keep your receipts, and you can start cutting out those areas where you're spending unnecessarily. Next up, balance your checkbook. Stay on top of how much money you actually have and how much you are allocating to everything, so that you're not getting those overdraft fees. Again, unnecessary fees, any of that can hurt you financially over time. You overdraft or pull more money out than you have, or write that check that you didn't have the money in the bank to cover, and all of a sudden you're paying a $20 overdraft fee to your bank. Maybe the company that you bounced the check at is charging you a $20 overdraft fee as well. So you're $40 into it all of a sudden, on top of trying to catch back up and get your balance back to where it should be. And then next, analyze your spending. That goes back to keeping your receipts. So you have to be able to look at where all my money is going. Do it for 2 weeks, even a month, and you will see, track all your spending, every dime that you spend. I mean, again, that $2 soda, $1.75 soda, even track that, and you will see where you can cut out those unnecessary spending, and then that will help you increase that savings or increase your money into your investment accounts. Next up, have special accounts. Go to your bank and set up a savings account, have a checking account. If you want to take a vacation, or you want to put some money away for your kids, if you have kids, for birthdays and Christmases, have different accounts and have money going to each one of those. $10 a paycheck towards Christmas gifts and birthday gifts, and the rest into a regular savings account. And then if you have $50 or $100 a month going into that vacation account, and then you'll be surprised how fast those accounts accumulate, and then you'll be able to see again where your money is. Again, the best thing you can do, you tell your money what it needs to do. You are the leader, you are the king or queen of your domain, so you need to be telling your money where to go. And then last, have a plan, but be flexible. Guys, setting a budget is great, but don't be so hard on yourself if you don't meet the budget, especially in the beginning. Have a little bit of flexibility. Hey, I've spent over what I should have this month, but I can get back on track next month. Or don't just throw the whole thing out the window because it didn't work the first time. Have a little bit of flexibility. Be flexible with it, and adjust if it doesn't make sense and you can't hit that 10%. I'm gonna give you a couple run-throughs of budgets here in a minute, of recommendations of what I would use for budgets and what I've used over time. But again, what works for you? If you can only put 5% in your savings because you maxed out your credit cards and have a lot of debt and you're trying to pay down that debt, so be it. But make sure you're putting that 5% away. And if you don't, get that 5%, don't beat yourself up, or 10%, whatever your goal is for your budget. Just have a little bit of flexibility. If you decide one day you want to, go out to a movie or get that soda, I mean, it's not the end of the world. That's not going to be the reason that your budget is not successful and that you don't eventually meet your goals of financial freedom, or being able to retire early, or go on a vacation, whatever those goals are. The way you won't meet those goals is to not have a plan, not have a budget, and not understand where your money is going. I'm sure we've all been there at the end of the week or at the end of the month, wondering, where did all my money go? And if you don't have a budget, well, you probably won't know. Well, if you do have a budget, you have a pretty good idea. So here are some budgets, guys. If I was still in debt, we're not in a lot of debt. We've kind of focused on taking care of and paying down our debt. So I would start with, if you have no budget and a lot of debt, a 90-10 plan. So 90% to your expenses, and your expenses include all living expenses. That's rent or mortgage, electric, food, gas, insurance, as well as discretionary expenses like entertainment, that soda, those cigarettes, whatever your discretionary expenses are that you don't have to spend, but it includes both. And then you're not going to put anything to investments at this time, but you're going to try to get to that 10% to savings. And you want to start with a plan to save 3 to 6 months towards your emergency fund, and that covers all your expenses. So whatever those expenses are that you have to pay every month, again, your mortgage, your rent, your electric, your food, your insurance, those are your actual living expenses that you have to pay. Your food, your groceries, figure out what those are and put it at a minimum 3 months, and I would say a maximum 6 months. Some people like a year, but I think that's pretty much overkill. I mean, we're in real hard economic times if you actually need to dip into a year's worth of savings. Typically 3 to 6 months worth of savings is plenty. Even if you had an emergency, that would be considered your emergency fund. If you lost your job or something happened, typically 3 to 6 months would cover anything that you need. And that savings needs to include initially the birthday funds, the Christmas gifts, the vacation funds. And again, you can set up separate funds within your savings account or a couple different savings account to cover those each ones. Your have an emergency fund account, have a vacation fund account, and have that discretionary spending. I want to take a vacation and spend towards birthdays and Christmases in another account. And then once you get this set up and you've run this, you've got your 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, you've got some extra money set aside. You can also use that savings account to help pay down the debt. Okay, I'm gonna slide an extra $100 in this account every month, and then once I get that $3,000 I owe on my credit card, I'm gonna pay it off, or you can pay it right towards your credit card every month. That should be part of the savings as well. Then once you get to that, you should slide. Once you start paying off those debts, you should slide whatever those debts were. If you had a $200 credit card payment, that should go towards investments. Once you've got your 3 to 6 months emergency fund to cover living expenses, once you've got that other account set up for your next car purchase or your vacation or those birthdays and Christmas gifts, then you've paid down that car, or you've paid down that credit card, paid those debts off. Then you start sliding those to your 10% investments. So this is where you'd go 80% to expenses. So again, that includes all your living expenses: rent, mortgage, electric, food, gas, groceries. I didn't put groceries on there, but that includes groceries as well as your entertainment. And then you want to try to get up to 10% towards investments. And your investments can be bonds, stocks, mutual funds, real estate, really up to you what you want to invest in, but try to get to 10% minimum and 10% into savings. And then next up, you're starting. This is a pretty good strategy. This is close to what I do. If you can, let's say you get that car paid off, those credit cards paid off, and you get a raise at work, or you increase your income, then you would take that increase in income and slide it to investments. So maybe now you're living off of 70% of your expenses. You've got everything paid down. You've got quite a bit of money in your savings. The other way you can do it is once you get that 3 to 6 month savings, you can drop back. Here, we'll go to the next one, how I would do it. This one here, guys, is actually the strategy I use. It's a 70-25-5. The strategy that I've used, again, my wife and I have really cut back on our debt. We've paid down most of our outstanding debt except for our house. We still do on our mortgage, but we actually it's one of the only write-offs that we get, so we're fine with that. We have a plan to pay that off over time, so not a huge issue there. But as we've decreased our debt, we've slid those payments, the $300 we had on our jet skis, $800 a month we had on our truck and insurance that I had, reduced the coverage on our vehicles, and then slid that $800 plus a little bit of our total, the truck payment plus the offset cost of the insurance, over to in credit cards. We had some credit card debt here way back when, but slid all that over to investments. So we do little aggressive, more aggressive into investments. Plus we have a significant amount in our savings, so we don't put as much in there. We do put some funds in there every year to cover vacations, birthdays, and Christmases, but our 3 to 6 month emergency fund, and I think we have about 6 months emergency fund to cover all our living expenses, and that's the maximum that we feel we need in there. Again, if I really got into trouble, I could obviously sell some of my investments to cover anything, but that is not the plan. I wouldn't recommend that unless you absolutely have to. That's what your savings is for, and that's why you want that 3 to 6 months emergency fund in there. Like I said, once you get everything paid down, you should be trying to shift that money over to your investments or to your savings, whichever one you prefer, but that should be your goal. And then this, guys, is getting very aggressive. 60% to expenses, 35% to investments, only 5% to savings. Again, this would assume that you've paid off all your debt. You have that 3 to 6 months emergency fund to cover your living expenses. You've got the vacation fund set up. You've got the birthday fund and Christmas funds all maxed out. So you're really cut back on your savings. You've really increased all your additional income. Maybe you've had 2 or 3 raises over the years. Even maybe paid down your house where your house payment is less, your car's paid off, your minimum coverage on insurance, that sort of thing, and really stacking the money to investments here, guys. This would be a pretty aggressive. Maybe your kids have left home, so you're not forking out that extra $300 a week for groceries, and you've instead of taking that to savings, you put it towards investments. So this would be, as you increase your income and decrease your debt, really look at increasing the amount to your investments. Now, guys, this particular strategy here, 50, 45, 5, this would be a very aggressive strategy, maybe even more suited for someone who is single, or again, your kids are gone, your house is paid off, you've really cut back your living expenses. Maybe you just got your groceries and your heat, your lights, your entertainment, that sort of thing. You're only covering that, stocking away 45% to investments, 5% to savings. Again, you're got your 3 to 6 months emergency fund, and maybe you're just putting money away to cover that vacation or next car purchase, birthdays and Christmases or something like that. So this would be a very aggressive, not advisable for most people. If you can do it, obviously, great. This is not something that my wife and I could do, and not something I don't think most people could do. But this would be a very aggressive strategy, and if you could do this, kudos to you. You would be headed in the right direction, probably much faster to financial freedom and being able to retire early than 99% of the population. And you probably are single or don't have kids living with you anymore, if you do have any. So guys, that's the end of this video. I appreciate you stopping by and checking out the video. Hit the like or thumbs up if you found value in the video. You liked the video. If you didn't, you don't like budgets, I guess, hit the thumbs down. Share with anyone you think might find value in the video. Drop a comment. Let me know what your budget is. If you have a budget, hopefully you do. If you don't, that's fine too. That's what the video is about. Hopefully we helped you put one together, or you can put one together based off the information and get headed in the right direction. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and try to tell you what to do with your money. That's up to you, but you should be telling your money where to go. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think. And guys, this is Shane signing off, wishing peace and prosperity to you and yours. And remember, financial security comes to those who take a vested interest. Hey, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. Consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. Thanks, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this presentation should be considered financial advice. I am only sharing my opinion and investing journey for educational and entertainment purposes. Investing involves risk. You can lose money and should never invest any amount you are not comfortable losing. Always do your own research and invest based on your situation, circumstances, and selected criteria, or seek the advice and counsel of a certified financial advisor.